here's to finding lost treasures, to the crossing of paths, and to the sureness of one's purpose.
Yes, lost things and familiar ones.
And to miracles. With enough belief, they can manifest in our lives.
And serendipity, Mr. Dunn. Don't forget that. With Shandella's recounting of it, the odds of you both surviving that storm were staggeringly against. To then meet at the same arena, in the same city, on the same continent at exactly the right moment, it's boggling.
It was fated, Raimi. He brought me here, and now he will be our deliverance.
Too true, Shandala, too true. But one thing at a time. For now, enjoy your wine and tell me more of how you all met.
Gabriel, the back of your hand where Tui struck. There are scratches. They look like...
Oh, yes, some good news. Your pet survived the ordeal, Shandala, though she's understandably shaken. She'll come out from her hiding place sooner or later. Just don't get between her and dinner. I learned the hard way.
But she's alive, Gabriel. My dear, sweet Bula is alive. Heaven's hand has spared her. It's a miracle.
Seems to be a lot of those going around. Must have been a sale.
A man who puts trust in his own eyes. Ironic, considering the state of your glasses. Shandala said on the docks that you had a dire tale to tell, a tangled web that ties you four together. Enlighten me.
I've seen more than my fair share, Mr. Dunn. We all have. And there's something underneath, something I know we weren't supposed to see. Here's the spiel, mastered after 3 tries. I'm a programmer at one of the world's largest biotechnology and telecommunications firms, Biocom. While working on advanced tracking software for their soon-to-be-activated satellite network, I uncovered secret military and corporate ties to the project. Before I could even think to blow the whistle, my computer hit me with this. I believe that this represents some form of extremely low-frequency message. It messes with higher brain function, motor skills, and the nervous system. You feel like you're seeing God and burning in hell at the same time. Your mind's cracked like an egg. And for a few days, I was poached. Seizures, nightmares, hallucinations, the whole gamut. I forced myself back to work, thinking they were going to throw me in jail for corporate espionage or something. But they promoted me, put me on a classified wing of the project. That's when I found this buried on my boss's computer, a GPS chart of the Middle East. There were coordinates for every major population center in the region, advanced weather tracking, electromagnetic signal test logs. It made no sense. Why was a global telecommunications network, one that had yet to be officially activated, being tested in this manner, and in a region with limited technological development? I'll tell you why. I was party to a Biocom-NATO joint venture fusing soldiers with microchips at an underground base near Coast City. The chips were designed not only to track the men, but to also interfere with low-frequency signals to the brain, specifically its fear center. I witnessed an insertion. I assisted in the process. On Iran.
It is still inside of me.
He was captured in Saudi Arabia and brought to the base with members of a NATO team. They were using him as a guinea pig for the technology. We now know that the chips were designed to protect the brain from the effects of a crippling ELF signal like the one I experienced. The satellite network will broadcast it, holographic and laser projectors will beam it onto the stratosphere, and millions will theoretically collapse in terror as the chip soldiers march in unaffected. Theoretically. But that doesn't explain this, the results of their test on Iran. It says that his heart rate, blood pressure, and brain activity remain normal during broadcast. I've checked the time code and coordinates for the test. It happened when I was with him. We were on the street and he buckled like a belt.
Buckled?
Then they tried to kill us in my apartment with an EM pulse, another tool of the network that'll let them deal with individual enemies or dissenters anywhere on Earth. Thanks to Iran, we survived and dodged a military sweep. I was searching for hard proof when we witnessed the murder of someone from my work. We kept running and stumbled across Kamimura, beaten and bleeding in an alleyway.
He was also insane.
I was lost. My treasure was gone. My word was broken.
And like the two of us, he had experienced the signal and had seen things.
A fascinating and detailed account. Almost too much to believe. It sounds more like modern cinema. But how does Shandala factor into your equation? How is she entwined?
You heard her on the docks, Dunn. A mystery helicopter rescue at sea, a drugged hostage of the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a special forces ambush in our hotel, how they died and how Oran didn't. Then there's your timely appearance.
So I'm to be a part of this.
Like I said before, an abundance of miracles. But let's run with the facts. The Biocom project map has 4 relay nodes, specific hubs where signals have been bounced: Coast City, Saudi Arabia, Japan, and the South Pacific. It didn't click for me until I met Oran. He was in Saudi Arabia during early signal tests. The time window is also right for Kamimura's collapse in Japan. And Shandala? The experience put her in a coma in Fiji. According to her, when she awoke, you had just arrived. You were under the employ of a powerful man from the West and charged with finding and returning his lost daughter to him. She had been lost at sea nearly 20 years prior, if I remember correctly, and I do. That time frame pops up again in corporate documents tied to the project, from the same company that mass produces the chip, from Amaxon. But it also gels with the history of a powerful man, a man from the West, a man who helped found and shape Biocom into what it is today, and it's not Benjamin Palmer. This man died at sea nearly 20 years ago. A church tower was raised on top of the Biocom building in homage, a building we've each seen in our dreams. And the project I was assigned to, the one that binds us together and cost me the life of the closest thing I had to family, it's named after him. Lear Spec Silence.